Okay, start.
Focus it on me. I have to be in the frame. Hi. Hello. Hey. Hi. I'm reading a book called Charlie's Raven. Charlie's Raven. Okay? Where are we starting at? You changed his routine. The next morning, blue sky awoke Charlie with his soft love sounds, and Charlie, acting as if nothing had gone wrong yesterday, took him to breakfast at Granddad's. He was going to restore Blue Sky's routine. If Blue Sky was good, Charlie would know that changing his routine turned him into a bad bird. Then he pondered. But he let me know about it, and that's good. Is that how he talks?
Mm-mm.
He rubbed his chin in confusion. Once inside the ranch house, Blue Sky jumped to Granddad's knee from Charlie's shoulder. Hello, beautiful fellow, Granddad said. Blue Sky lifted his ear feathers on his head until he looked like a devil. You look very well, Granddad said to him, and very impressive. The horns went down. Grrr! The raven gurgled, then gazed at Granddad with a dreamy, otherworldly look in his eyes. He bowed several times. Grrr! Granddad answered and touched Blue Sky's head with his forehead. Blue Sky stood tall and pointed his bill up. He pushed out his chest and spread his wings and tail. Look at him, Granddad said spiritedly. Spiritedly. La 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 la. Blue Sky saying, admire me, I'm incredible. He is, called Grandma Sally from the kitchen. Granddad looked right into Blue Sky's eyes. Hey, Mr. Wonderful, you're 6 weeks old. It's time you fly. Does she have an accent?
No.
Grow, 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 Blue Sky said, changing the subject. Okay, Charlie said. I hear you. Time to eat. He was grinning. He had just run an experiment. He now knew that when Blue Sky got his own way, he was good. Was that bad? He wondered. Getting his own way might have saved Raven's life, and that would be good. Charlie shook his head and carried him to the table. Grandma Sally had Blue Sky's breakfast ready. 2 hard-boiled eggs, a piece of French toast, and a mouse she had caught in the trap in the pantry. Gee, Charlie said when he saw all the trouble Grandma Sally had gone to in preparing Blue Sky's plate. This is crazy! Blue Sky has made slaves of all of us. And willing slaves, Sally said. I'm getting to love that bird. Your Granddad perks up after these morning visits with him. It's amazing. She served Granddad his breakfast in his big chair by the window. You look good this morning, Will, she said and smiled. Blue Sky stood on his own plate, and Grandma Sally fed him everything but the mouse, which Charlie had cut into nice little pieces. The little raven was still not strong enough to tear up the mouse, nor could he swallow it whole as yet. But he sure could eat. His swallowing noises were so loud they carried all the way to Granddad's ear. The old naturalist slipped a small notebook from his breast pocket and jotted something down. Blue Sky then picked up a piece of mouse, hopped from the table to the chair to the floor, and walked into the living room. He fluttered up to Granddad's knee and stood before him with the food in his mouth. Write this down, Charlie, Granddad said. He's courting me with a mouse. Granddad bowed Granddad bowed like a loving raven and gave the gurgle love call. Blue Sky ignored him, cocked an eye at the knee blanket, and hid the piece of mouse in a fold. Take it all back, Granddad announced in his professional voice. He's hiding food in the manner of Raven. He is not courting me. He intends to get it for himself when he's hungry. Knock, 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 Granddad clucked. Knock, 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 Granddad clucked. Blue Sky ignored him. I thought you said knock, knock, knock means I am the power, Charlie said. I was sure it did, Granddad said thoughtfully, but I guess it depends on who gives it. When he gives the call, he gets his way, like demanding to greet me every morning, but when I give it, poof, nothing. Yeah, said Charlie, puzzling over the brain of the bird. But he saw to it that Blue Sky did not miss his greeting ritual for that reason and another. Something was happening between Granddad and Blue Sky. He hoped it was the Tetan Su cure. Tetan Su cure. After the morning ceremonies and breakfast, Charlie had his own routines to perform. He carried Blue Sky to his cabin for a nap, opened the irrigation gate, watered the plants, made repairs that were needed, and then set traps to catch mice for raven food. Dr. Bernd Heinrich, the world raven expert, had noted in his book, The Mind of the Raven, the enormous amount of food baby ravens needed every day. A family of 4 nestlings required 6 mice, 4 hens' eggs, 2 6-ounce cans of cat food, 10 ounces of puppy chow, and a couple of scoops of beans. Mice were not always available, so Charlie had substituted canned tuna fish. Divided by 4, that was a lot of food, and he was a busy raven mom. Returning to his cabin after breakfast one morning with Blue Sky on his shoulder, Charlie mulled over the relationship, because he, Charlie, fed and nurtured him. Blue Sky thought that Charlie was his mother and that he looked like him. That's how it was with imprinting. On the other hand, Charlie now realized the change had gone both ways. Taking care of Blue Sky had morphed him into a mother raven. If I were Mr. Spinder, he said to Blue Sky, I would say ravens are supernatural. I'm not a person anymore. I'm a mother raven. And you're not a raven. You're a person. He grinned and was about to go in his cabin when Blue Sky's feet pressed hard on his shoulder, then lifted off. Oh, I'm sorry. I just went into another character. He flapped his wings. Blue Sky was airborne. He's flying! He's flying! Charlie shouted. He's flying! He's flying! He's flying! He's flying! Shouted Singing Bird as she pushed through the willows, jumped the irrigation ditch, and ran to witness this moment of achievement. From inside Granddad's house came Grandma Sally's voice. Will! He's flying!
Dave, the bar on here is like out of control. It's red.
Oh, is it loud? Was I loud?
Yeah.
You can turn that down a little bit.
How?
Here. Pause.
How do I pause?
This button.